Welcome to Synergetic Mind Self-Inaugurated Education, August 18, 2024. The Continuity of Conscious Life, Episode 4. The disturbing political discourse and endless reactionary articulations consume volumes of humanity's precious time spent in the universal communications process, TUCP. Mostly, the experiences on the internet these days in variously devised content disseminations. This now includes podcasts, news media presentations, pop-up pages that intend redirecting any link tapped on the computer keyboard to web pages filled with ads, text, photos, videos, video clips, and more. Conscious observations of these reenacting emulative articulations realizes all aspects of the disseminated content derived from the PRJWBCHM, politics, religion, justice, war, belief complexes, hierarchical matrix. Imagine intellectually ascertaining the necessary insightful inspiration to consciously alter the course of history precisely at the point of transiting out of the PRJWBCHM, which is contextually potential as a metaphysical propensity, when UIVMOFCH universe isotropic vector matrix operational field cosmic hierarchy is known to synergetic minds, anticipatory design, science, self-inaugurated education. Whether the synergetic mind's anticipatory reality temporarily accepts or rejects omnirational clarification, the PRJWBCHM millenniums-old existence constitutes the obsoleteable parameters of self-destruction, as UIVMOFCH constitutes newly explorable pristine vistas for philosophical and geometrical integrations, referential to nature's coordinate system's hierarchy of generalized principles, the eternal laws that govern all physical-metaphysical universes intertransforming transactions. Since deceptions are integral complexities throughout every projected PRJW scenario, whenever its continuity of conscious life becomes personality as a product of complex periodic interactions by default educated ignorance, regardless of the enormous costs and loss, logically the reenacting articulations can only increase the self-perpetuating tolerance magnitudes of the residual inaccuracies in never-ending scenarios, as more sophisticated technology devise compatible systems to assure PRJW survival. From every indication, those factors do not exist in nature, are not essential to a hierarchy of generalized principles, the principles that theoretically are governing all the intertransforming transactions of universe. Then logically, synergetic minds, anticipatory design, science, omnirational realities need no longer be burdened by those complexities which historically impose increasingly greater costs and losses. There is the military-industrial complex, the prison-industrial complex, variously innovated complex economies, and more. The increasing numbers provide evidence in and of themselves. When adjusting the a priori thought to the phenomena, while adopting its manifest forms, the human mentality adapts regardless of the irrationality, getting deeper into the imbalances whereat 2 becomes 200, 2,000, 2 million, 2 billion, 2 trillion in a relatively short amount of time, as the essential 12 degrees of freedom do not integrally factor into the PRJWBCHM formulations, since that matrix does not validate the minimum structural system of universe as the tetrahedron describes those degrees of freedom. and the degrees of freedom describes the tetrahedron. And so even the term freedom seems never to refer directly to the motions and energy of universe as a conceptual system. Apparently, awareness into the impossible PRJW economic schemes has been encyclical processes for millenniums, are a conscious evolution result, subsequent to synergetic mind's information processing and the 20th century discovery of nature's coordinate system, which is synergetics. Everyone's individual synergetic mind is integral to consciousness evolution that apparently remains in a self-perpetuating dormancy throughout the PRJWBCHM governing propensities until awareness of the general systems can be conceptualized independent of size. The chances of the intuitive interattraction between anyone's PRJWBCHM survival proclivities coinciding with Arbuthnot Fuller's lifetime's intuitively driven curiosity to discover synergetics is slim to none. But once the continuity of conscious life strikes a compatible chord in some approximation to the individually designed potential personality, its determination persists according to the search for truth, which intuitively emanates from the same matrix that in this particular case is the isotropic vector matrix. And the individual's design, in principle, is of universe eternal omniscient mind, Eom. The isotropic matrix was completely unknown from my childhood, but was intuitively anticipated by Arbuthnot Fuller, whose self-disciplined self-determination to find nature's coordinate system cosmic-logically compared his incrementally discovered geometries with the prevailing inherited mathematical coordinates employed in highest education. So the commonality is truth. Whatever my experience of contradictory articulations is initially emanated from the R factors, untruths, that disturbed my question-asking mentality. I was always on the lookout for one contradiction or other, and I was often satisfied with more than one. Then it involved the R and J factors, followed by the R, J, and P factors. Finally, the PRJW factors, which are operating everywhere in the world, eventually became potentially irrelevant to synergetic mind's anticipatory UIVMOFCH conceptuality subsequent to initiating self-inaugurated education in a world that is overwhelmingly articulating every degree of the self-destructive PRJWBCHM. Everyone's search for truth is intuitively inspired by the contradictions of one's own lifetime experiences. There is the immediately personalized, insightful moment concerned with momentary self-survival, and the greater humanity concerns extend to the entire world. This may be when the continuity of conscious life becomes responsible for imagining the most inclusive contextual parameter that logically requires what Arbuthnot Fuller discovered to be uniquely projected from the individual point of clarification referential to the most economical way. The point is identified as the geometry of vectors conceptually adhere to a single coherent system of geometric principles. If so, synergetic mind's informed awareness recognizes forces in both macrocosmic and microcosmic structures that interact in the same way. Synergetic mind, therefore, relates accurate information that describes system phenomena, most economic equilibrium interpatternings. This requires a vector equilibrium model. My personal experience of Harbert-Minster-Fuller synergetic models continues to require the comparative matrix, which apparently is unique to my particular focuses. I wrote the PRJWBCHM acronym based on a lifetime of non-scientific observations, but as an intuitive necessity to identify the contextual parameter that unarguably is millenniums-old. Then the mother of necessity urged my intuition to write the UIVMOFCH acronym based in my rudimentary awareness understanding of Synergetics as geometric models. Logically, these differently originating acronyms are valid contextual parameters for synergetic mind's imagination when conceptualizing the transition from the old to the new, using the UIVMOFCH conceptual systems to accommodate the macro to micro egress-ingress independent of size, converting systemic thought into an energy unit that follows great circle paths as the minimum structural system of universe accommodates the passage inside outing and outside inning, and since energy always follows convex surfaces. Until next time, thank you for your undivided attention, with a cautionable reminder again today to the most gullible humans in the world. Not to be so fun-fixated that confuses governmental responsibilities with the foolish fancies that conceal the underway intention to control such freedom once the power is in those hands. A true leader puts its humanity before the playground's fun and games, dance parties, cocktail hours. A true leader's ability to solve economic problems comes before the personality of a media-created celebrity, as such is done when promoting movie stars. The ability to solve local problems must always be intended for the survival of every generation when the camera is turned off. Real life, day-to-day reality requires life-sustaining energy from the most reliable resources, not pretentious political platforms. Relevant links: Synergetics 209 and Synergetics 214.